Hi, my name is Paul Friedman. I am the founder of the Marriage Foundation. And although this topic says relationships, what I'm going to talk about is relationships that are not just dating relationships, but deep ones, especially marriage. So at the Marriage Foundation, what we do is we're an educational foundation. We teach people about marriage because no one learns about marriage growing up. I certainly didn't. So this topic is it normal, I'm reading, to lose intimacy in a relationship? I want it back. You should want it back. Intimacy is normally relating to sexual intimacy. I'm going to take you to a higher plane, if I may. And by the way, we'll talk about this, and then we're going to talk more about marriage in general, even if you're not married yet. And when I say not married yet, I'm not talking about if you're living together. That is the same as being married. I mean, you're in that same space and you're trying to do everything together. It's one life, two have become one. So we're going to talk about marriage, but let's talk about this. How can you get it back? First, let's understand it. The real intimacy that we crave is not sexual intimacy. Now, if you're a man, then you want sex because of the body's drive. The body drives a man to have sex because our bodies are all about self-preservation. They're very primitive. Just the body now. You're not the body, you have a body. So the body of a man and the body of a woman are very different when it comes to our drive to survive. We're designed differently. We achieve different goals. Our motivations are different because the body's telling us what we should do. So I'll get out of the way the man's, and then I'll get out of the way the woman's, and we'll get into more of a general discussion. So a man's drive to survive, remember it's all about self-preservation, which is coming from the body, is all about impregnating women in order to increase the number of human beings, because in numbers is safety. It's nature at work. There's nothing subconscious about it. It's a drive to survive. It's built into the body. How we achieve that, there's a lot of subconsciousness going on, but it's basically sex is just a biological drive until, as a human being, we decide to use it differently. And this is how the idea of intimacy came in. Intimacy is talking about a connection, isn't it? It's not just talking about sex, not recreational sex, not sex in order to have children. It's talking about a connection. So as human beings, because we're very special as God's creation, we're the highest creation, and we have that ability to bring our souls together, which is why we're called soulmates. And so when we know what we're doing, when we understand it, we use sex as another bridge of connection between ourselves as souls. And when we do that, it looks very differently than just recreational sex, which is what most of us have been exposed to, and frankly, rarely think of sex in any other way, especially men. Women tend to have a deeper view of sex, but men, it's just, for the most part, not all men, it's just sex. Gotta get off. Gotta do it. How come she's holding out on me? It becomes its own thing. Because we haven't, as men, explored its possibility. We don't think in terms of love and using sex to increase the connection between each other like that. Okay? So for men, when they want intimacy, they are, generally speaking, using a nicer word to say, I'm not getting enough. Okay, no condemnation here, no criticism. It's just the way it is. We're not taught anything about relationships and marriage in school. We don't even learn how to balance our checkbooks in school. Nothing useful. Where we learn about love and marriage and all of that is mostly from sitcoms, or nowadays from porn. How are you going to learn anything from that? And so for men, sex has turned into recreational activity for the most part. It wears out because it's biological, it's psychological. It doesn't go all the way down to what we truly are, which is a soul. The soul craves love, unconditional love, because the soul is unconditional love. And guess what? You are the soul. And if you meditate like I do, you start to feel yourself distancing yourself from the body and the mind and realizing these are only tools that I have. My body and my mind are possessions. I am not my body. I am not my mind. But I can use them in order to enjoy this creation and get the most out of it. And marriage, trust me, is one of the greatest gifts that God has given us in terms of getting the most out of it. Because we get married in order to experience unconditional love. I'll change that. We get married to learn how to love unconditionally. And so if in your relationship, I ain't getting much, watch these videos. Start getting a sense of what marriage is all about, what the relationship is all about. Start changing your perspective. Start utilizing sex instead of letting sex run you, make you cranky when you're not getting enough, make you kind of an a-hole towards her, and all of that. You see, we get married to be happy. We're with someone to be happy. It is the destiny of the wise man and woman to be happy because we're equipped with free will, so there's no reason why we shouldn't create happiness outside. Because you're a soul, it's already there inside. We don't learn these things. It's so difficult. When people come to us, and you could read the reviews, it's amazing when they come to us and take our courses. I'm not pitching the course for you. They let us know. I had no idea. And it's also logical, also reasonable, but it's not taught. Now you're learning. So that's why you should subscribe to this channel, so you could learn. So for a man, you got to really shift quite a bit. And I'm not talking about emotional. I'm talking about intellectually understand how all of this ties together so that you can say to yourself, I want love. Sex is not enough. I want love. Then you're being the soul, because the soul is love and craves love. And I'm going to utilize sexuality in order to experience a greater connection with my soulmate. And then it takes specific kinds of effort, which I can't get into, or this could be a 12-hour video, but I want you to just start thinking about that. Now, women, and in the meantime, if you're going, well, in the meantime, I just want to have sex, it's not going to happen because you have been burning yourselves out. It's becoming old because everything on the material plane has a finite existence, not like love, which has an infinite reality. Not like happiness, which again is infinite. Now, ladies, you're wondering what is going on. He used to be so loving towards me. He used to be so passionate. And what's going on? And in many cases, I'm going to be perfectly honest. What happens is, again, because we're not taught, so no guilt, no shame here, no blame. We're not taught. What happens is once we get married, once we're in that deep relationship, we stop behaving in ways that were the beginning of this amazing connection between soulmates that would just grow and grow and grow. And we allowed our marriages, our relationships, to lower down to the mundane plane of what did you do today? I saw this. I'm not happy with her. I'm not happy with him. The kids are blah, blah, blah. Just nonsense stuff. And you've dropped out of this plane that you had of love and joy and got into the mundane. And now you have to learn how to lift it back up. Because your husband, as you, were combinations. We're spiritual beings because we're essentially souls who have a body and a mind, but we have a body and a mind. So we are, although essentially spiritual, we're also psychological beings and also material beings because of the body, biological beings. And this blend should be utilized by us by virtue of our free will so we could lift things up. If your marriage is truly descending like that, just reading one of my books isn't going to be enough. Watching these videos is definitely going to help you, just like reading the books, but it's time for you to say, where is this going? What do I need to do to completely shift the dynamics? And for that we have, and I'm not pitching it, but I'm just saying, for that we have the course for women. And we have a course for men too, super valuable. But you're not in a place probably where you're thinking, well, my marriage is coming to an end, so you probably won't have an appetite for those. But those will be where you end up going maybe in a year or two, because it's the beginning of the end when you start losing that connection, that intimate connection. It's the beginning of the end. And you can reverse it. You can, but you have to know how. And the information isn't found in magazines. We touch upon it in these videos. Other people don't have the knowledge that we have here. I'm just being candid. And we've been doing this for over 20 years. We've seen just miraculous changes. You could read about them in our testimonials. But at least do this. Bring your marriage back to when you were dating. Start treating your SO, your significant other, with that love and respect and consideration and grace that you had when you were just dating, and you'll see big changes. You will. Just that alone. But I'm telling you, it can go so much higher. I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. I hope you appreciate and like this video. If there's a topic you'd love for us to touch upon, let us know. You can leave comments. Definitely visit our website. And we appreciate you. Leave a like for the video. God bless you. And take care. Thank you.